Today we're actually here to talk about the 50 cal clipper. Now, I'm not one who rushes into doing reviews. I take my time with things and I just don't want to be wrong about it. I want to make sure that I give you guys the absolute truth, so whenever you see a review on my channel, you can take it to the bank. This review is going to be about the 50 cal, and in this review I'm just going to tell you guys everything I feel about it. Now, one thing I want to get out of the way just before we go any further is, okay, so after a new product is released, it might have been out for only a short time. It's not uncommon to see that Chinese factories and stuff will start to counterfeit it, put a new label on it, a new name, sell it for way cheaper, and kind of undercut what that company was trying to do. So how is a new company to survive with all this 3D printing and this ease of manufacturing, and every day manufacturing is getting better and better, that they're able to basically take this product, make it either look like it or make it either be it, and then sell it in a sell the counterfeit at a price that's much lower and undercut the original company. Let's get into this review, because I'm not really here to say whether it is or whether it isn't. Let's just get into the review, and I'm going to review this product for what it actually is. How does it actually stand up to the other clippers that we have in our business, the other cordlesses? So yeah, let's start with that first. First things first, when I first got this clipper out of the box and I tried it, I realized it had a ton of power, a ton of promise, and just a really good ergonomic feel to it. And I liked it right away. However, after using it for a short time, I began to not like it because the blade wasn't cutting nearly as good as it was when I first got it out of the box. Now, this is not an uncommon thing for a newer clipper to have happen, because a lot of times when they come from the manufacturer, they have like a coating of grease on them, and oftentimes that can cause it not to cut well. So what I did was I took them apart, I cleaned them, and I dipped them in Andes 7-in-1, and ever since then, oh my god, it has been just a joy to work with these. Now, one of the features that I really love, I love having a dock. I'm kind of a sucker for a dock. I don't like to take the time to go and hunt down my cord, plug it in, make sure it's the right one, and then to go through all that stuff. But the other crazy thing about the whole charging system and charging this is this thing doesn't die, okay? I stopped plugging it in 3 days ago. So yes, I used it for 3 full days in the barbershop, and I have still not charged it. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the same for you, because obviously the type of work you do, the type of way that you implement it might be different than mine. I of course use my debulking clippers a lot. I use my Volts a lot to remove a lot of bulk. So mainly what I'm using this for is blending and fading and taking them fine details and taking care of that kind of stuff, which they perform excellent. If anybody is wondering, yes, you can zero gap these, and this blade is so different than the wall blades. The cutting blade is completely different. It is not the same at all. And in fact, the comb blade, this part is definitely the same as a wall blade. It will fit a wall blade. However, I never really felt the need to do that just yet. I usually get into these kind of things and I want to take them apart and change them right away. But I wanted to give it a chance to review it for what it was and use it for how it came before I get into modifying it and doing other stuff and looking to improve it. However, at this point, I don't see any reason to attempt to improve this, because this thing is so good on its own, the way it comes. Now, if we look at the lever system, it has the notches. Okay, there's 5 settings basically. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bottom setting with it all the way open and all the way closed. And then the tutorials that you're going to see me do in the next few videos, you're going to see like how I use this, how I use these clicks to stay consistent. And it actually, even though I've been cutting hair for about 17 years, it's kind of cool to use these clicks. At first, I didn't think I would like it, but that's because I wasn't really using them. I was still going by feel. But when I actually started using the clicks, I noticed that it sort of kept me in line. It kept me more consistent, and I just felt that my work was getting more consistent across the board. So, as I said to you guys, for the first week, I was a little unsure. The second week, I became real sure. And now I'm going into my 3rd week, and I want you guys to look at my station. I have no other clippers. I'm using no other clippers. This is the only clipper that I'm using, with the exception of my Volt for debulking. So I unplugged my walls, I unplugged my Andis Masters, and I unplugged everything else. So it's so nice to have a clutter-free station and just have one clipper that can really actually perform like this. And I'm just beyond happy with it. Like a clipper that I would compare this to would be the Andis Masters, because this is a magnetic motor. It's extremely quiet. And it really seems to perform its best once you've removed the bulk and you're working on the fading. You can actually do some clipper over comb with this. I've really had no problems with it. However, you can hear the motor start to slow down. When you charge this thing into heavy bulk, that's not really what this, in my opinion, that's not really what this is for. This is more of a fine-tuning kind of instrument, and if you're working on heavy bulk, you should be using a detachable to remove all that heavy bulk beforehand. So the way that I work and the style that I use to fade and the things that I do, this is really a perfect fit. Comes with magnetic guards. You get 1 through 4. You can actually see that they have the magnet on the inside. They do fit the wall guards, and as a matter of fact, the only thing about the magnetic guards is it did not come with a 1.5, so you know that was kind of something. But the 357s did come with a 1.5, but to be honest, I found myself just using the same walls, mainly because they were already on my station. I'm kind of used to using them. They snap on just fine, and I really didn't have any complaints about it. However, the magnetic zero guard is actually pretty nice because it's got a little bit longer teeth. It's got a few more teeth. It helps lift up the hair a little bit better, and it's kind of interesting. But when I zero gapped it, it's pretty common for them to bang into the guards. The caliber .5 guard that came with the 357, it really doesn't hit the guard so much. So I don't know if that's just mine, the way that one was made or whatever. But yeah, I've actually found that the wall guards, even the number 1, it bangs that guard a little bit because I do zero gap them, but at the same time, it's not so bad that you can't back it off just a little bit, and it's still very usable. So I really can't say that I need all them other clippers plugged in anymore. I realized that they were there, they were just taking up space. I had all these cords and everything else. Now I have no cords. And anybody who's watched this channel for any amount of time knows I've bashed every cordless clipper. I bashed the Magic Clip, the Wall 1919, the Wall Seniors, the Andis Envies. I always told you guys in all the other previous reviews that you're still better off plugging it in because you have all that extra power. And if you go for a while and you use cordless clippers and then you go back to a corded clipper, you're like, wow, I'm saving a lot of time here. So I don't want to waste time doing something that's going to cost me money over the long run. So if it takes you an extra 5 minutes per cut, okay, and you do 20 cuts per day, you're adding up so much time throughout the week where you could have done so many more haircuts, and that's just throughout the week, but imagine throughout the year. So that's the reason why I always told you guys, just keep it plugged in, keep it locked. They don't have any problems. You replace things as they go, and they keep working and working and working for you. However, this kind of changes how I feel about things. This has the power. This does not slow me down. And with the clicking in the blade system, I find myself going through the blends even faster than I ever expected to be able to. So I really got to take my hat off to this company. I think they've come up with something really unique. I don't know if this is the first magnetic motor in a cordless or not. I'm not 100% sure on it, but it's one of the first that I've ever heard about it. So as it stands, this will be my main clipper. This will be the one that I'll be taking to the premiere show. I plan to be at the Barber Strong booth. I'm going to be hanging with those guys. If any of you guys are going to be out there in the premiere this year, please feel free to stop by, come hang out with me, come say what's up. I'd love to meet some of you guys, and I'm going to be showcasing some of my cuts and talking about some of the things that I do with those guys. Now, the other feature I like, just personally I like, and I don't know if everybody else is going to feel the same, but I like having the button. I like powering it up with a button rather than a click or a switch or a potential switch that's going to go bad like this one, who's everybody knows that these are notorious for having issues and going back. This is Andis Slimline Pro Li, but the switch on these in many cases goes bad, and this switch is actually bad. Once in a while I gotta bang it on the table to get it to turn on, but it does still in fact turn on. So anyways, I kind of like having the button. I'm not sure what the longevity is going to be like with the button, but as of right now, I have no complaints. If you guys watched the unboxing video, you've seen how I zero gap it. It's very similar, same process as I would always do. I'll just remove these 2 bolts. And I just want to point out something to you guys. A lot of you guys think that this is actually oiling your clipper. This doesn't oil your clipper. This actually strips the oil off of your clipper and causes your clipper to not perform quite as good. You'll notice that you'll get a quick speed boost when you spray any of these clipper sides on your clippers. However, this is not the same thing as oiling your clipper, so you're still going to have to take the time to put a drop of oil on it. I mean, it says right on the top, keep your blades oiled, but I can't tell you how many barbers don't actually keep their blades oiled. Have a look at this blade. You can see that there's actually teeth on the bottom of the blade and the top, and you can see it's super fine, which really allows you to get that skin line out so good. It's honestly, it's a little ridiculous. It's very thin. It's very fine. This is obviously a well thought out thing because the way it performs really clean. Now, your top blade, that's very similar to the 1006 blade on the wall. In fact, I really can't say that there's anything different about it. I don't see any differences here. However, there may be some differences in the in the tolerancing and the sizes and the width or whatever it is. But for the most part, I view this as the 1006 blade on the top. So that's a pretty standard blade. A lot of people really like that blade. And that's pretty much what you're gonna see. Now inside, you're gonna basically see that you have your motor there, and I gotta clean this up obviously, but you have a pretty strong spring, which is putting a lot of tension down on the blade. We'll go ahead and we'll zero gap these up now. I'm just gonna put them back together. All I like to do here when I zero gap is I just want to get these kind of snug, just a little bit, and where I can still move the blade. And you're gonna need a good pair of eyes to zero gap these because that blade is so thin that it almost blends in perfect with the other blade. So it's very hard to see the difference. You can see it kind of sticking out there. I realize that this probably isn't the best view, but me looking down the line is kind of the view that helps me the most. So I got it set in about the way that I want it, and I'll begin just slowly tightening these just little by little. A little bit here, a little bit there. If you do it too quick, you're gonna twist the blade and you're gonna wind up overdoing it. You also want to make sure that you have your lever in the closed position, if I didn't mention that. That's the zero gap. These things are ready to go. Now that I've cleaned them, washed them out and everything, I'm gonna make sure that I take the time to oil them before I go back to using them. The charge time is amazing. Hey, you got the charger for that 50 cal? Nah, bro, I don't even bring it no more. I left it at home. Ergonomically, they're great. I have really nothing bad to say about this clipper. The only real thing bad that I could say about this clipper, and you may have heard others saying it, is that it's a little bit slippery. So I've actually kind of come up with a solution. I took them off for now, but I just put like 2 rubber bands around the handle, and I found that saved it. Maybe I'll do something in the future to make it a little more tacky, but it really isn't a problem. I work with gloves, so most of the stuff that I grab anyways, it's still pretty tacky, but certain types of gloves can even still be sort of slippery with this grip. But yeah, that's really not enough to dissuade me from using it. And as of right now, this clipper is going to remain my daily driver, and I couldn't recommend it more than enough. So I realized that they're charging a premium for this machine, but this machine is a premium machine. It is certainly worth the money. If you compare it to all the other stuff that's out there right now as far as cordlesses go, I really don't see any comparison between them. I'm not a big fan of Babyliss. You guys already know that. There's really nothing that they make that I use, and the wall cordless and all the other ones that you might try to put it up against, it's got a lot more power, a lot longer runtime, and it seems like much more easy. It just seems like it's got a large throw. Like this lever, the amount of movement that you get out of this lever, it's a pretty large throw. Very similar to the Andis Masters, which I really like the throw on the Andis Masters. I think everybody did. It almost has the same weight as the Andis Masters as well, which was something I also kind of liked. So it's all positive coming out of here, and I'm really happy about it. Really, the only negative I got is it can get a little bit slippery. So yeah, you might want to put a little rubber band on there, put something on there to get it a little bit tacky, and you are going to be a happy camper when you get them. I'm not blowing smoke over here. They're really a high quality product, otherwise I wouldn't be over here telling you that. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope to see some of you guys at the premiere show. But until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. I'm out of here. If you guys are interested in any of the equipment you see me using in this video, you can head over to caliberprocorp.com. Go ahead and select what you want, check out their stuff, and when you're ready to check out, you're gonna go to that little discount code and you're gonna type the word EDDIE, E-D-D-I-E. That'll give you 15% off plus free shipping on orders over $50 domestic. So thank you guys so much again for watching my channel, and I'll catch you guys in another video. I'm out.